When you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast.
Well, hi, Suzann. I'm super excited to have Suzann Paterson here today on our Financial Freedom Forever podcast. Welcome. How are you doing today, Suzann?
I'm good, Andre. Thank you so much for having me. How are you doing today?
Oh, outstanding. I'm just super excited about our interview today. We've known each other for a while now in the company, and you've just been doing some fantastic things there in your real estate business. And let's just jump right in. Tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your real estate journey and your background. I know you do a lot of high-end luxury properties, and just tell us a little bit about your real estate history.
Okay, so just really quickly, I retired about 9 years ago and just found that even though I'd worked really hard and it was kind of time to take a step back, I was really bored. And being a family that was expats and had traveled extensively and moved quite a few times in a short period of time, when I got into the real estate industry, I really got into to help kind of change it and evoke change within it. So I became a director on our local board for a few years and sat on many committees. What I found when I got into real estate is we all say the same thing. Anyone who's really like-minded and gets into real estate that do it for the right reason, that we're doing it for our clients and to help them get to the next level of whatever that is they're doing, buying, selling, investing, your financial freedom forever. I love that. That's something that we can do through real estate. So it's been a passion of mine personally, and then for all of my friends, family, and my clients at this time. When I got into it, I was very blessed that the area that I raised my kids was more of a high volume area that had larger dollar volumes to their properties. So anywhere, you could buy that property at 6, 7, 800,000, but we were also selling properties 5, 6, 10, and $20 million properties. So I did a lot of research when I first was able to get my license. I was really excited coming out of the gate, wanted to get in there and have my flair put on things and the way I wanted to run my real estate business. Spent a lot of time branding and looking at what other, colleagues were doing and what was going to work for me farming the small area that I was, had raised my children in. So I looked at some key brokerages. I went to all of the big ones, interviewed with everyone. I started my career with RE/MAX, as a lot of us do. My manager there was phenomenal. But what I found that happened to me is that I was looking for more of a mentoring type program, which we didn't have any back then. I was also looking for, some colleagues that I could work with. And I found I spent a lot of time on my own and kind of just getting myself up and running, figuring things out as they came. And a lot of us will find that when we get into this industry, it takes off. One minute you're not doing it, the next minute the phone's ringing and you've got one client and a second and a third. And, we're just, the hours that we spend, the time, it's a big commitment. So learning as you go is a little more difficult, but I enjoyed it. I embraced it. It was fun. I then moved to a high-end brand, and I did that because of my luxury expertise that was starting within the industry. And I felt that my clients were going to need that prestige of a name or a company that had more of a global, even though I was a local expert, I was looking for that global reach. And so I moved over and went with a local Canadian brand that was high end, but I moved from there over to Engel & Volkers, which it was a great company, fabulous brokerage. Everyone that I've been with at this point, I've only been with 3, they've been great. But when the EXP model showed up and I started to look at all of the benefits, not only from the standard of just as an agent and what they provide us with respect to our splits, our commissions, opportunities within our industry to grow to another level, to look at having some type of an retirement strategy or an exit strategy, which we really didn't have with any of the other brokerages. You know, you work hard and you gain all of these clients and your customers, and then you think, well, what do I do now if I want to take a little bit of a step back? Unless you're consistently selling at a top level, it's very difficult. So EXP had just so many variations of what I was looking for. I thought that they treated their employees well and fairly. That was number one. The main thing that I found was the mentoring, the programs that they had in place for newer agents who only sell 1 to 3, 4 houses per year, agents who are selling 20 plus or want to do their own team, the training, 50 hours per week. Which we find out quickly, that's just all online at my leisure. I don't have to walk into a building. I don't have to go to a class. I don't have to get dressed up. I don't have to fit it into my schedule. It's always there for me to look up on my time. One of the other things I loved was the like-minded people. So many high-end agents who know what they're doing. They're well-versed. They've spent many years, and then some that are brand new with great ideas, but everyone wanting to help each other. The groups that I've come upon, the Facebook groups, the chat groups, everyone wanting to help everyone, that was new for me. And I was like, wow. So everything coupled together, it took me a little while, Andre. You were talking to me for, quite a few months. It's scary. I went to leave my last brokerage. They told me every reason why I shouldn't, and all these great things they were going to do. And none of that really came to fruition. I figured that out quite quickly. But I can't believe how blessed I am and how much part of a family I feel, and all of the added benefits that I get from EXP.
Yeah.
It was just the next step and the right step.
Yeah, awesome. First of all, I want to thank all of our listeners for jumping on here today. We really appreciate everyone jumping on and show us some love and send some hearts and thumbs ups, and feel free to share this podcast for sure so we can get it out there. But Suzann, let's unpack that a little bit. Kind of your story. I know you heard about EXP before you and I connected a while back, and looked at it a little bit then, and then we connected, and you were ready to pull the trigger. I remember the day you were ready to tell the Ontario broker, hey, go ahead and transfer your license. You just had to let your broker know that you were coming over. And then you talked to the broker, and some things changed, and let's unpack that a little bit and share the stories, because I know there's a lot of other people that hear the same thing and get a little nervous because of whatever reason. And you didn't come over for a while, right? It was another, I don't remember, you probably remember better if it's 2 or 3 or 4 months, and then you did.
Yeah, and then 4 or 5 months that we stayed. Yeah, you get complacent, and not in a bad way. As I've mentioned, every brokerage has been fabulous, and I've learned what I needed to at that time. But one thing I have found within our industry, and no disrespect to any brokerage out there, but we run our own business. Right. Each and every one of us truly runs our own business. That's what we do in real estate. We connect with our sphere of influence, whatever that might be, and however we're running our business, we connect with them because of who we are, right? Our strengths and who our personality is, and how we handle our business within this industry is very unique, and that's why people work with us. So our brokerage is important. But yeah, I walked in and we were signed on the dotted line, my partner and I, Marie Mascarin, and we work, we spoke about this for a long time in depth of what we wanted to do. And we had talked to someone in the beginning, and she was fabulous. She showed us a lot of things with EXP. She sent us some videos. We worked with her for a little while, but it never really got to that next level. I never really was able to get exactly everything that I really did need to know. And we're all busy. And so it went on quite a few months. And then when you and I connected, I was ready to sign on the dotted line. And my brokerage said, hey, listen, the level of what you sell, you need to be very careful. This is a new brand, no bricks and mortar. No one really knows of them yet. Just be careful. we're going to help you, and we will help you grow the team that you want to grow, and we will help you do this, and we will help you do that. And then, we stayed, and one day turns into the next, and you're busy with your next deal, and this meeting doesn't happen. And you realize after a little bit of time watching EXP continue to grow the way they were, I didn't want to miss out on that. And so talking to us, sending us a few more materials. And then when I met Jay and the whole crew and Al, and it's just unbelievable that on top of the EXP and everything that we get from this incredible brokerage, that we have these individual groups within EXP. And Honey Badgers is hands down. I just say to all of you, thank you so much, because the time and effort and dedication and passion that you all put into this, that makes us better agents. Because we are constantly learning from everything you are putting out to us, and all of the resources that we now have on top of just that whole family of the Honey Badgers on top of EXP, right?
So about from the very first time that you heard about EXP and started thinking about looking into it, and then from the time you actually, partnered up with us, how long was your due diligence period?
Almost 9 to 10 months.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Looking back, do you wish that you would have, pulled the trigger sooner? Are you glad that you took the extra time and you didn't come over originally? If you could do it over again, would you do any differently? Or
I think that one of the things we all do in life, no matter what we do and where we're at, is we get that instinct, we get that feeling that says, hey, this is the right thing to do. Right. But then we start letting all the other little things sneak in and go, well, wait a minute, but what if, and could I maybe, and so that's what we did. Yeah. Realistically, what we did by moving over to EXP was the right decision. We lost 9 months. And we actually did some pretty good sales in there, and some numbers that I wish had come over. Absolutely. When I look at the model now, when you really understand the model. And I think changing brokerages is not always a difficult thing, but EXP is a little more hands-on, because we aren't bricks and mortar everywhere. We do have a few, people that have their own, but I think we get overwhelmed with EXP. We get overwhelmed with just how much knowledge, how much mentoring, how much information is out there. And we sometimes kind of take a step back and go, wait a minute, am I ready for that? Right. But the realistic nature of it all is that once you do your getting started guide and you actually do everything that the company lays out, A, B, C, D for us, you are up and running to a level that I wasn't in the whole 9 years that I had been doing this. Wow. I learned more and had more confidence. Not that I didn't already have a lot, I was good, but just the extra knowledge I had, the extra resources I had, making me a better agent, I didn't think was possible. So I was really happy. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on taking course after course after course, and yet I'd say 75% of the people that join Honey Badgers and EXP are already mentors, coaches, they're real gurus. We're learning from the best of the best, right? So
yeah, the collaboration is second to none, that's for sure.
So that's
now I know, coming from a luxury model brand, and that was a big concern of taking some extra time before coming over. Did you lose anything as far as moving over to EXP? Is there any listings that you didn't get, or any negative because you did come over to a brand that's not well known yet for luxury? But that's changing. People like yourself are changing that with your $12 million listing that you just put on the market there a few weeks ago. So, but how did that go?
I think that my trepidation was very much my own fear. When we moved over, one of the first listings I had with COVID right now and everything going on, and I'm a Torontonian. My business is in Southeast Oakville, an area called Southeast Oakville, but I was born and raised in this area, Toronto area and GTA. So that's kind of my farming area, but I actually live in Boston now. I'm married to an American. So I actually have been blessed that I go back and forth. I've always had a referral type business and done some sales internationally. But having the EXP as a backdrop for that, I can't believe how my focus has opened up on being able to do more international. So that was brought into the spectrum. But when I first came over and I got worried about my high-end listings, the first one I got was when I was in Boston, did everything virtually.
Right.
Well, had my painters go in, had my cleaning staff go in, had my picture guy go in, did all of this without me even being there, did not put a sign up, did complete, privacy for the clients, sold it virtually, did everything virtually. And I was able to give leverage with our EXP model and having the international base. So when I finished the sale, I actually went back to my client. I had my new sign, my EXP, which I didn't put up because we ended up going without a sign, but everything was logoed online. And I said to them after we sold, can I just ask you, what brokerage am I with? Like, I've done a couple of deals for you now, and I'm just, do you know what brokerage I'm with? And they had no idea. They did not know that I'd moved from Engel & Volkers over to EXP. They were not even aware of that. Now I probably should have told them, but we got the job done. We sold it for well over asking. We did everything that we needed to do, and there wasn't one little bleep in the process with moving over. Then we've done some deals in between. Never have I been asked yet, and I just did an 11,888, almost a $12 million listing, 12,000 square feet. And once again, now my client did say to me, who are you with again? I'd never heard of this EXP. They did say that. And they did want to know why it wasn't going to be a Sotheby sign or an Engel & Volker sign. And then I just went in and I said, you're hiring me. And if I let you know that I can, globally take care of what you need and I'm able to do everything I normally would, does it really matter? And the answer, of course, was no. Right? Everything has been done. And we put together this brochure, and the client said, best brochure they've ever seen. And it didn't matter what the brokerage was because it's us selling us as agents. So I was very worried about going and staying with my high-end luxury branding and having a company behind me that didn't have as much, it wasn't out there as much as some of the other high-end brands. Didn't matter. Haven't skipped a beat. Selling tons of properties in the last few months. Phone's still ringing. And at the end of the day, I have the extra knowledge and power behind me that I need to help with my clients. So that's all that matters.
And your clients are backed up by, our global company in 14 countries and 60,000 agents and the referrals that and the people in our group that you're able to get all your, your properties out to. So I'm sure you're happy about that as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And now you have ownership, right? You have ownership in the company where you didn't. I'm assuming you didn't get stocks or any kind of ownership in the other franchise or other companies that you were at in the past, right?
Right. And see, that's one of the things is you try to keep it in your head to say, well, we need to talk about the mentoring and we need to talk about the schooling. We need to talk about, everything that comes along with it. The commission structure, how you being able to icon and getting your 16K back and stock options. Well, there's just so many facets to what EXP has and what it has to offer that it's almost too much to even kind of go through. You kind of have to tag team and remind everyone. But yeah, that is such a huge part of this because I got in late, right? I got into this late. I mean, I've only been here, it's just going on 9 years and more almost part-time. A lot of times it's the way I've run my business. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm there for my clients. When I take on a listing, I'll put everything else on hold and I am there at every showing. That's fine. But having the luxury to run this the way I want to run it for myself, being able to go and stay in the US and stay here in Canada and then also do international. Like I've sold in Grand Cayman, I've sold in Naples, Florida, I've sold in Europe, I've sold in Costa Rica, I've sold in all of these other places that I reached out on behalf of my clients and had to find agents I could work with. Whereas here at EXP, I was talking to one girl and she's Costa Rica. And I said, okay, well, we've got all these great groups coming up, throw one on there. Well, she's now got a Costa Rica group and she's like, it's just going crazy. but we know who we can contact. I mean, if we look at the referrals in here, I must see 30, 40 referrals per day.
Wow.
Per day. And what I love about this is that there's so many of us in this family that when you farm a certain area and you know it really, really, really well, you still have a client who will say, hey, can you sell in this area for me? Or can you sell way over here in Halifax or wherever it is? And it's not always easy to find that agent to connect with. But now with our, group and the way that we've set it up, I just take 5 seconds to look over in Halifax and I've got 10 different amazing agents that I can use.
Right.
My referral network has gone crazy because I feel confident and secure that we have such great, colleagues coming on as a part of this group.
Yeah, fantastic. I'd like to ask, before moving over to EXP as being a solo agent, was there anything that you struggled with in the past in real estate industry, and how did moving over to EXP and partnering with us, change that? What problems did the EXP model solve for you, if any, from the past?
Okay, so, well, since I started in my real estate career, I've kind of just run it the way I want it to again for myself and my business. So there wasn't anything that I had an actual major issue with. Okay. That I didn't already have under control. However, in this industry, we are always learning and growing every single day. And so one of the things I found in my other brokerages is that a lot of times when we would have our monthly meeting or when we would have any type of a meeting, you almost felt nervous to talk about different ideas you had, and we're supposed to share and we're supposed to help each other, but it didn't really feel like that. It almost felt like we were all part of one group and one company, but because we were running our businesses separately, no one wanted to share anything. And I've always learned, when I went to get into real estate, I was told, oh, don't get into it. There's 10,000 agents. How will you ever break into your small cliche, your small group or your small area? And yet it happened, right? Because again, we all run our own business. So I think that I have found that the biggest part and the biggest benefit to me is just the way they run the organization, the fact that I feel like an owner in it now, the fact that I feel that the like-minded people that have joined are people that I can trust and call. I can get hold of my broker of record within 5 minutes. I can get hold of anyone that I need to ask a question to within 3 minutes. I can walk in in the world. So my little icon goes in and I can walk into the tech support desk and within 30 seconds, sit down at a desk with someone who can take over my computer and fix everything that I need fixed. Yeah. If I need help with advertising, with, KV Core, CRM tools, the tools and everything that's been given to me are the things that I had to pay for and look for before. And now they're just there at my fingertips. So I'd say just the extra knowledge and power of resources that are behind me now. I was just telling my colleague Marie, I was saying, there was a new agent who just started. We're all saying congratulations, let us know if you need anything. And she sent out and she said, when I left my last brokerage, I was struggling on, a new, putting together a new format for going out and meeting with clients, right? For a listing presentation. And she said, if anyone has any suggestions, well, 30 agents within 5 minutes sent her their listing presentation.
Really?
We don't get that anywhere. Everyone's here to help everyone. So that's been the number one thing. I thought and knew I had a good business going, but I didn't realize the level I could take it to with all of the extra knowledge and power behind me now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, the tech department is unbelievable. I'm not too techy myself, and I don't know how many times I've went into the world and they just take care of our issue, take over your computer and just fix it for you, no charge, no questions, just what can we do to help you? It's how can we serve you? It's a pretty awesome.
Exactly, it's amazing
collaboration. Yeah. Anything, and you answered a few of those things kind of in between, but what surprised you most about EXP? You just mentioned some of those few things just now. Is there anything else that really surprised you? You weren't expecting it being a cloud-based brokerage, and that's a lot better than what you thought it was going to be over and above the collaboration the support?
Well, I think one of the things that we think of when we think of no bricks and mortar is the fact that we're going to lose touch with each other. And sometimes people like that touchy-feely walk into the office. There are a number of people who still have their own offices. They always did. And they've turned those into EXP offices, and they always have events and are welcoming people over. So that's probably, one of the main things. The other thing is we still have our conferences. We still have Vegas coming up. We still have, now one of the conferences was 5 days. I happened to be in Fort Myers, Florida. I was lying on the beach sitting in my house, but I was online the whole time. It was amazing. And then after that or during that, we had these groups get together. And when you get into the world and you see, you can head to the beach and you can go out on a boat, you can get a private meeting room. It's really cool. And there was a group of us that all met down by the water, and we were all from Canada. It was a Canada group.
Okay.
Well, I was walking around and walking up to people and saying hi. And we were like, our conversations were amazing, and we were networking on the beach, but right in front of each other. And I didn't expect that. I thought it would be a little more hands off because of it all being virtual and in the cloud. And yet I find that I'm probably more interactive now because I don't have to get in my car and drive to the office.
Right.
So I actually can get into a room with 10, 15 of us, and we can all, network and brainstorm and talk about this and we're all right there, and we can do it any time of the day or night. So that's amazing.
You're not fighting traffic or the weather, or you don't have to get all your hair done if you don't need to, if it's early in the morning or late at night, right? And that's been a huge time saver for a lot of us, for sure. What do you think about getting access to the NAEA, which of course stands for the National Association of Expert Advisors, all the coaching and training that we get, or above? Like you said, EXP offers 50 to 60. I've heard it's even higher now of training on an ongoing weekly basis. Because you're in our group with Jay and Michael and Al, have you taken advantage of a lot of the trainings that those guys are having and having access to the back office of all that coaching and training? Has that helped?
Absolutely. Sometimes it's almost like everyone jokes, it's almost too much. There's so much out there. No more TED Talks. We just have, Alan and the guy talks, Jay and the guy talks. That's all we need. But yes, absolutely. When I went on the NAEA, I had taken a designation course for working with the elderly. There are so many designation courses that we can sign up for. The extra classes that they have, someone's always talking to someone who's an expert that gives, what they're doing right now in the market, how they're handling their CRM, what they're doing for, monthly emails, if they're doing them. There's just so much. So yes, that's been a huge one. And when I first started those seminars, and I mean, there's probably at least 3 to 4 per week.
Oh, yeah.
And then
every Tuesday. Yeah, every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think Friday, at least 3 to 4 times a week, live training sessions in our private Facebook page, and then you have access to NAEA. We're flying those guys into Atlanta to put on a NAEA boot camp for our group here coming up here shortly.
Right.
So that's gonna be pretty amazing as well. Have you taken advantage of having access to your senior business partners' calendars and getting their calendars to ask them, questions about your real estate business, or about helping you answer questions for other high-level members like yourself, or have you taken advantage of that at all?
I have actually, with yourself mainly. I'm always on with you. You're always accessible. But I've definitely, when I talk to a few people about onboarding and doing agent, agent attraction.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of that, but when I have, I've been able to access their calendars. I've been actually going between Puerto Rico and the US and Canada a bit. And Jay was happy to open his home to me when I was there and say, come down.
Right.
Come down and say hello and meet with me and see where I work and see what I do. You've done the same thing. We've got Pierre, who's like in Ottawa. I mean, we've got people everywhere that are willing to talk to you. And whether it's on a quick Zoom call, whether it's on a phone call, whether it's at one of our conferences, yes, I've actually definitely taken advantage of it, because again, if I forget something or I have a question, and we do sometimes, doing it the same way you were doing it, it's not always the answer. So if you want something new, there are just so many new resources to reach out to now that, I mean, again, and no disrespect to any of the brokerages, but you go in and a lot of times your manager or, you know, your broker of record, they're busy. You know, they're over here or they're over there, or you might get them a day or two later sometimes, unless you really absolutely need them. Whereas here, there seems to be 5, 10, 15 people that were all kind of like-minded. So it doesn't matter who we're reaching out to. There's always someone there to answer, which is great.
It's a perfect, it's the business model, right? I mean, because of the way Glenn Sanford set this business model up, we're all financially aligned together to help each other grow, right? And you know, you have the people that your senior business partners that all get paid, not from you, but from the company, to make sure that you're successful, you know, because we're actually, you know, owners of the company, right? Absolutely. And even if they're not your partners, you know, that in your network, I mean, I don't know how many times I've reached out to people, not in my own network, but within EXP. And I don't know how many have reached out to me asking for questions about things that they saw me up, you know, at an event or something. And I'll spend 30 minutes, sometimes 45, even an hour, answering their questions and helping them. And they've done the same for me. I don't know about you, but I've never experienced that kind of collaboration within a company with people that are not financially aligned with you, because, you know, they're not in your network. But of course we still are, because, hey, as we continue to grow, when I got plugged in 2.5 years ago, we had 16,000 agents, and now we're going to hit, I think we just hit 60,000. We're in the, you know, 12 or 13 different countries. We were only in about 4 a couple years ago, right? And the stocks, you know, they go up and down, but they've gone up 10 times since I've been plugged in, and we all get a piece of that when the company grows. So it's super exciting. A couple of really quick questions, and we'll let you go. But if there's just one takeaway, you know, that you would want to make sure that, you know, anyone listening today that's a close friend of yours or someone that you care about, what would you want to make sure that they really understood and took away from this interview, so they benefit from it as much as possible? What do you want to make sure they know and heard from you today?
Well, again, I always go back to the fact that we all take something different from our real estate business and how we want to grow it and how we want to run it. I think the biggest thing to take away that I've learned in my small amount of time doing this is that there are a lot of great brokerages, but they are all out there for different reasons, and they bring a different skill set, or they open certain doors for you as an agent. I learned very quickly, I was very nervous to move brokerages. I figured, you know, like anything with any other company, you want to stay as long as you can. Right. In our world, sometimes it takes a few to get you to where you need to be. And I think that it has to be something that works for you on all levels. So when we think about how much money we put out to all of our different organizations, and here in Ontario, there's quite a few we have to, you know, do that with. Having your brokerage, because again, this brokerage adds so much value that I was already paying for with all my other brokerages. It's included here. So the fact that I pay so little in my commission structure, the fact that they actually pay me to be a part of this organization and give me a longevity to be able to hopefully do this right until I'm 70 plus into my, you know, early whatever it is, as long as I'm still helping clients and I can do it and I can pick up a phone and I can be there. That's pretty special. Right. So I would say to anyone thinking of this model to make sure you find the right sponsor. I think the sponsor should definitely be very hands-on with anyone that they bring into the company. The group that you come in with is very important to make sure that you have all of those added benefits on top of what we already get from EXP. That to me was huge. For me, it worked. Having you all behind me is just that extra. I feel like I've got, you know, like Wonder Woman, like I've just got one, you know, one thing, ping, 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 like whatever I need to do. You guys, like I've got EXP, then I've got Honey Badger, then I got, you know, like 20,000 people within that, which is great. But I would say take that leap. Don't wait. Don't try to figure it out. It's not rocket science, just like what we do, like we all do it a little differently, but we all have the end goal of helping our clients and our customers and the people that are close to us get to that next level within real estate. So learning the most you can, having the best group of people back you that are like-minded, and having the knowledge and power that we get from this group. If I had been able to do this out of the gate, the money, it's not even, I would have put out, I can't tell you how much, and I'm doing this all for free. So I would say jump in, because if worse comes to worse and you're here for 6 months and it's not what you wanted, then and you move on. But if it is, the time that I wasted trying to figure it out and be logical and, all of that, it didn't matter, right? So that would be my one takeaway.
That was awesome. That was awesome. One thing that you just mentioned, if you jump in, you find out it's not a good fit. That's one pretty special thing about DXP. They don't hold anything hostage. Hey, if you're part of us, we want you here, we love you, and we're here to take care of you. But if for whatever reason it's not a good fit, they don't hold anything hostage. You can take your listings with you. You can take all your leads with you, right? There's no minimum or maximum time. I know some people are quite surprised when they read the ICA to find out how easy it is if they weren't happy for them to go back to where they came. But very few people do that. One other thing that you just mentioned as you were explaining that you said you pay so little for all the things that you get, and compared to the other companies that you've belonged to in the past, roughly. And you also mentioned they actually pay you to be here because of you get, once you hit some icon, you hit a certain level, you get all your the money that you paid into the company back. I know that's what you meant about that, about they pay you to be part of the company. But do you have an approximate idea of how much money you've saved because of on the technology and the training and all the things that you get at no cost with EXP compared to the other companies? Any idea, like maybe per year, how much money you've saved?
Well, I would say monthly, probably at least $500 to $800 a month. In some things that I, was starting to do, because you get to a certain point in your career as well. Again, for me, I'm a little bit different. I do mine more on a part-time basis. But if you're full-time, some of these really add up. Because I didn't get enough training, I felt I was always taking new courses and paying for those. One of the courses I took actually cost me $13,000. It was a few-week course, and it was on social media and just how to, bring your name up on Google and which areas out there, whether it's Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, like what was best to utilize. And, I've never really done advertising, but I was going to a different level now, and I wanted to find out, and it wasn't easy. And, even now we have these different Facebook groups that we put out. And if I put one out that says, hey, does anyone know a good CRM? Does anyone know how's your KV core going? Have you done a boost? I've got so many people that come back and go, tried this, did this, don't do that, maybe try this, this is good. And not that we don't find those in other brokerages, it's just the amount of help we get here is unsurpassed. And so I saved a lot of money there. And then this is the first year that I haven't taken any of the extra courses. I haven't needed to, because so many people in our network were already, like I said, mentoring and coaching and experts selling 20, 30, 50 units a year. There's no one that can tell me that you are not going to learn from those people for free.
Right.
For free, right? So, there was a program called the All In Challenge. It started at the beginning of COVID, and it was to help with food and hunger. And anyway, and I bought some tickets. And the only thing I was putting my tickets in for was mentorship. That's what I was looking to pay someone for. You got to have a lunch with, the CEO of Microsoft. That kind of knowledge is worth, people pay unbelievable amount of money. And yet the guys I'm learning from within our industry that are experts in our industry, and I sit back and I go, wow, you know what? I was doing something similar to that, but didn't think of that. Oh my gosh, that's a great idea. Even some of these, I have to say, sometimes I get on and I think, Oh, we're going to talk about a listing presentation again. I don't really need to learn about a listing presentation again, you know? And sure enough, someone will come up and say something and I'll go, didn't think of it, you know? Or I almost had the same thing happen to me. I wasn't sure how I was going to handle that. So we're constantly learning and evolving because every deal we go on, even if it's with the same client, it's always different.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we do, right? The diversity of it is the excitement of it. So having all of these incredible, like I said, brilliant lifers and people that have been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years, yes, the mentoring part of it, you can't put a price tag on it. You can't. It's incredible.
That's awesome. My last question for you, Suzann, if you could join EXP all over again, is there anything that you would do differently? If you don't mind sharing, so if you made a mistake or if you did something that you would have done differently in the past, what was that biggest thing? So, you know, if you don't mind sharing how your friends and people that are out there that are watching this might be able to learn from our mistakes.
Okay. I don't know that I had per se mistakes when I started. I followed all of the guidelines.
Okay.
And I think if we do that and we actually do follow all of the guidelines, we've got some great administrative people on the back end there that have taken time and effort to lay these things out for us. I actually would say, not that it happened to me, but I think a lot of people, and I did speak with a lot of people that were joining EXP for a little while, and they just found it overwhelming. They found that it was a lot of information, and they weren't necessarily taking it and putting it in little areas of their computer that they needed to. They were trying to find it here and try to find it there and almost take on too much. So I would say the biggest thing is because you're getting into a company that has an unbelievable amount of information in all different areas of what we do. I would just take the time with your sponsor to say to your sponsor, you know, what should I do and in what order? And the biggest thing too is that reach out to someone within the company. We always feel like we're bothering them, right? And you kind of don't want to, but that's what they're there for. And they answer like that. And so I think it's when we get a little bit overwhelmed at how much information is coming at us. Right. You just need to take that step back. That's all.
I tell everybody coming in, you will feel overwhelmed. There's a lot of changes and you have a lot of information at your fingertips. And I just tell people, of course, we give you a checklist and tell you what you should do first, second, and third. But if you start feeling that coming on, take a deep breath and just think about, change that overwhelmed feeling to an excitement feeling and be excited about absolutely everything that you need, all the questions that you have, all the systems, lead generation, everything that you need to bring your business to where it is right now, to where you want it to be, is right here at your fingertips. And it's just a matter of a little bit of time of you being plugged in and getting connected to the people in your group to figure out, you know, where exactly it is and who am I supposed to call for this or that. And it's just within a few weeks, you get that all figured out and then you're off to the races, right?
Yeah. And again, with the honey badgers, we don't just have that first layer. We always have that extra layer. Yeah. So EXP is helping us come on, but then we've also got, you know, honey badger, and we've got their whole resource and their administrator, and they're helping you come on. So, you know, if you take that step back, take a week out to just go, hey, I'm just going to absorb and learn and take it all in. Call a bunch of people. Hi, you're in my area. How are you? What have you found? What do you need? How are you? Can I help you? Can you help me? It's just those connections in the first, you know, couple of weeks. So.
Well, it's been amazing partnering with you, Suzann. I've had a lot of fun. I know we're going to have a lot more. Excited to see you face to face at some of the upcoming events that we have. Before we sign off real quick, if you're a reader, what's your best inspirational book that you love? Or if you're a movie watcher, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh my goodness, you caught me off on those two. But before I go to those, well, you know what? I haven't had a chance to read lately. I travel a lot, so I'm traveling all the time. Not necessarily, so I read up on where I'm heading to and that type of a thing. And then everything that I've learned recently in real estate just been all online with you know, honey badgers and with EXP. So that's where I'm at right now, just online constantly with you guys. But I do want to say before we get off, Andre, you have been phenomenal. You've been such an inspiration to me. You got us over here. I cannot say enough great things about being with the right brokerage. I feel like I'm home. I feel like it took me a little while to get there myself, but now I'm home and this is it. And you are just, with everything that you've built within your own group, with the honey badgers, your knowledge, again, your dedication and passion. You're always updating us. You're always giving new content for us. You're always reminding us when the next, seminar is, or if I missed this, you've got it recorded. You're always there when I reach out. So I just want to say how blessed I am. And I thank you very, very much for bringing me on. And if ever I can help any agent out there or anyone, happy to do so, because this has been a great journey for me.
Well, thanks for your kind words, Suzann. It's been a pleasure for sure. Thanks so much again for jumping on with me today, and we're looking forward to seeing you all next Wednesday, the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. Thanks again. We'll see you. Like our partners always say, we'll see you at the top or from the top, right?
You got it. Sounds great, guys.
All right. God bless. See you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
God bless.